Guys, here are the 3.6 volt lithium batteries that you will need to replace in your SRM. Make sure you order the 2-pronged if you're going to, because you'll have the positive and negative connection. I ordered these ones on AliExpress, took about 3 weeks to get here and cost me $30 American. There. Once you've loosened the bolts, should just pop right off. And so now we're gonna go into the disassembly phase where we remove the old terminals and unplug them from the circuit. This first level seal and the second level seal, which runs along here in this inside edge, this one's up here on this side. You can see that. You can use your Allen wrench again, just get under there. I do want to give everybody a little warning so that you can see this, that when SRM replaces the batteries, they are actually glued in. So you're going to want to be very careful about removing the batteries and remove them with something like a toothpick, and be very careful of all the leads that are soldered on here. You don't want to snap any one of those off. This small little slot here, we're just going to kick each of these out of the slot. Very, very, very tight space here. So we're just going to do this, a little bit of pressure, and it's loose. Okay, that's one. So now we have the old battery, which happens to be identical to the new battery. So make sure you do that on your second one. Be very careful. I'll give you the next step from there. I actually used a pair of needle nose pliers just to do this. Very slowly. Try and be as gentle as you can. Okay. Nice and easy, just like that. Okay. Just gonna want to straighten this out. And once you start to get it in kind of a zigzag, kind of a camel hump, just going to want to grab a little bit more of that hump each time, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to snap it off the lead, because that's just a whole nother basket. Anyway, that's what you're looking at right now. See, this one's pretty straight. I'm going to do the same thing to the other one, and we'll have 2 straight leads at that point. So the next step in the process is you're going to want to take your battery and straighten out your lead. Make sure you got everything exposed, and we're going to touch the soldering iron here. Simply remove the wires. You're going to heat it up, as I said before, and pop that off, and then we're going to clip these and reinstall them onto the new lithium batteries here. Okay guys, so now what you're going to do, I actually have my solder just mounted up here on a stand. But what you're going to do is you're just going to take the solder and touch it here lightly. Basically all you want to do is give it just enough to remove it. So you can hopefully see that process here right now. There goes the first one. Get our positive lead here. What I'm doing is just lightly stroking it on there, because soldering irons get pretty dang hot, and this is just a very small connection. So as long as you stroke it like that, you should get it to pop loose. Now we got this removed. Second one came off a lot easier than the first one. But like I said, you're going to repeat that step with the next battery. Now we can see the approximate length of our leads here, and we're just going to trim them up to length. Okay. Put the first one. There we are. Now we got the old battery on top, or the new battery on top, the old one on the bottom here. Just want to let you know a little setup that makes this whole process a little easier if you don't have all the equipment, bells and whistles. I got the wiring set up here. I just use an Allen key to prop up the wires to be at the same level as the middle of the terminal here. Now that I have that set up, we don't have to really worry about this moving around too much, and I can just set up the battery so that we get the setup right here. And then when I drop the solder on, I can just drop it straight on both. I have free hands. Okay guys, so now that we got the soldering iron ready, I'm just gonna go ahead and drop some solder on here. So the next thing you're going to want to do is cover some of your leads here in some electrical tape. Before you do that, I'm going to give you one piece of advice. So if you look over here, when you go to drop the battery in, if your leads are too long, okay, you're going to want to make sure that you twist them a little bit to the right so that they actually will go in and not make contact with any other surrounding metal. The last thing you want to do is run down the battery because it was conductive to something else in the power meter. So you're just going to take these leads, give them a little tweak to the right when the battery is facing up. I'm going to just simply cut off the old shrink tube that was on here and wrap it in some electrical tape. This is a small application, so I don't see that much harm coming from wrapping it in electrical tape. If you have shrink tube, that's the best option. I actually don't have that option. There's nothing really in my area that's too close to get shrink tube, so I'm just going to be using electrical tape. The reason why you want to actually only cover the leads here with electrical tape is that because the positive and negative wire, when you throw it back inside the power meter, let's have a look here, you can see that there's not much room between where the wiring is and the entry point. So you're going to want to make sure that you don't fudge up the wires. The ends have to be a little bit flexible to the point where you can actually get them into the attachment. The white piece here, just want to give it a little kink like that, and it should slide in relatively easy. You kind of just want it to find its own place. Definitely don't want to force it in there. That's kind of the spot you want to be at. So just be patient with it. So guys, as you can see here, I have the battery located back into place, and we're all clipped in there, and the leads are fully covered up. See if we can pair with the sensor. Now what you're going to need to do this is obviously the battery that comes with the SRM or another type of battery. So I'm going to scan for amp plus. Signal. Well, looks like we got it right away. So that is the matching number 27358. Just gonna hit enter. It's gonna pair here. Paired. One last tip, make sure that you keep the pads on here. That'll actually just help secure the kind of the cover plate here. And remember where it says your power meter, that's exactly where you're going to want to line up with the holes right here. So you're going to want to line that up just like that. That's where you get your plate cracker right there. Okay, so there you go.